Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? Got you there, didn't I? With the Chucky series due to come up in just 1 week on USA and Sci-Fi, I've decided to bring the Chucky series back into the reviews of Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews as I prepare to bring to you a re-review of the original Child's Play. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a re-review of the 1988 supernatural horror flick Child's Play, released by United Artists, directed and co-written by Tom Holland, and produced by David Kirshner, from a story by Don Mancini. The first installment to feature the character known as Chucky, starring Catherine Hicks, Chris Sarandon, Alex Vincent, Diana Manoff, and Brad Dourif, who voices our title character. Well, not the title character, but Chucky. Because this isn't Chucky, this is Child's Play. my bad. Anyway, the story focuses on a willed mother gives a doll to her son, unaware that it is possessed by the soul of a serial killer. This film gained a cult following since its release. And what have you. It got some pretty good response and what have you over the years. So let's get into the story. In 1988, homicide detective Mike Norris chases fugitive and serial killer Charles Lee Ray, aka the Lakeshore Strangler, through the streets of Southside Chicago, repeatedly shooting and hitting him. His accomplice, Charles's accomplice, Eddie Caputo, escapes alone in a getaway vehicle. Charles breaks into a toy store where Mike fatally shoots him again. Yes, well, a dying Charles is screaming and say that he's gonna get him and Eddie no matter what. So he finds these here good guy dolls who were kind of, similar to that of, sort of factually similar to that of the My Buddy dolls. Anyway, he performs a Haitian voodoo spell to transfer his soul into one of the dolls, causing the store to be struck by lightning and explode. Mike survives the explosion and re-enters the store only to find Charles's corpse and the doll. Well, the next day, widow Karen Barkley unknowingly buys the doll, now calling himself Chucky, from a homeless street vendor as a birthday present for her 6-year-old son Andy. That night, Karen's best friend Maggie watches over Andy while Karen works late. After Andy's bedtime, Maggie finds Chucky sitting in front of a television tuned to a late-night newscast about Charles Lee Ray. She returns the doll to bed, but is then hit in the face with a hammer and falls through a window to her death. Police search the apartment, and Detective Norris considers Andy a suspect. Before returning to bed, Andy claims that Chucky killed Maggie, and Karen tells the police to leave. The next morning, Chucky orders Andy to skip school and take the Chicago L train downtown. While Andy is distracted, Chucky sneaks into Eddie's house and kills him by causing a gas explosion. Andy is again considered a suspect and is admitted to a psychiatric hospital after naming Chucky as the culprit. When Karen picks up the good guy's box and drops the battery pack, Karen realizes that Chucky has been running without them. Enervated, Karen lights a fire and threatens to burn Chucky, who violently comes alive in her arms and attacks her before running out of the apartment. Karen chases after him, but after he escapes, she goes to the police station and explains what happened. But Mike doesn't believe her. Karen finds the peddler and asks for more info about where he found the doll, but the peddler tries to sexually assault her. Mike rescues her, and the couple force the peddler to admit they took the doll from the demolished toy store. Carrie again tries to convince Mike that the doll is alive, but he refuses to believe her, insisting that he killed Charles Lee Ray. After bringing Karen home, Mike is attacked by Chucky, and in the ensuing fight, he shoots the doll, whose wound inexplicably bleeds and causes pain. Chucky escapes to his former voodoo instructor, instructor, John, who informs him that the longer Chucky remains in the doll, the more human he will become. Yeah. Alright, now to the ending. You know the procedure like always. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, continue on after the 5 seconds. Here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Chucky demands that John help him reverse a spell, but he refuses. Chucky grabs a voodoo doll from John and uses it to break his leg and arm. John reveals that in order to escape the doll, Chucky must transfer his soul to Andy. First human he was revealed to. Well, Chucky is like that's just couldn't even believe this. Yeah. So he's like, I'm gonna be 6 years old again. Yeah. Well, John, it's been fun, but I gotta go. I have a date with 6-year-old boy, and you have a date with death. And stabs the voodoo doll. Yeah. And escapes. Carrie and Mike arrive shortly after. Before dying, John tells them that though Chucky is a doll, his heart is fully human at this point and vulnerable to fatal injuries. Chucky arrives at the hospital where Andy is being held and kills a doctor while there using an electric shock machine. In the process, Andy escapes and flees home, but Chucky ambushes and incapacitates him. As Chucky prepares to possess him, Karen and Mike arrive to stop him. Chucky cuts Mike's leg, but then Karen throws him into the fireplace, and Andy drops a lit match into it, burning Chucky. Karen and Andy leave the room to help Mike, but a charred Chucky escapes from the fireplace and chases Andy. Yeah, it really gets intense now. Well, sort of. Karen shoots Chucky repeatedly, blowing him to pieces. Mike's partner Jack arrives at the apartment, initially refusing to believe the trio's story, but Chucky's body suddenly bursts through a vent to strangle Jack. During the fight, Mike shoots Chucky in the heart and eventually defeats him. Jack tells him that no one would believe him before leaving the room with Mike, Karen, and Andy. End of story. So, what are my thoughts on the original Child's Play? Well, for those of you who don't know, I actually did a video of it, but I'm going to go ahead and give you my thoughts on it. I actually still love this movie. Well, it's still probably my second favorite of the franchise, right behind the first one. Not the second one. I'm getting carried away here, ain't I? My bad. Yeah, it's my second favorite in the franchise behind the next one, Child's Play 2. Anyway, I do love the cast here. We have Brad Dourif as Charles Lee Ray in the voice of Chucky. And Catherine Hicks is Karen, who does a pretty good job. Alex Vincent is Andy. Well, is factually okay, but is a little... I don't know. Now, Chris Sarandon as Detective Mike Norris is pretty good after he recently appeared in Tom Holland's vampire flick, Fright Night. Diana Manoff plays Maggie, and Jack is played by Tommy Swerdlow, and the doctor who is in charge of this psychiatric joint that Andy gets into is the late Jack Colvin. Most of y'all know him best as Mr. McGee from TV's The Incredible Hulk. Yes. Now, fun fact is that Andy's watching a Good Guys TV series with a little anime commercial, which was done by Ruby Spears Enterprises. You may know the studio that gave us Donard the Barbarian, Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Mr. T cartoon, and Fang Face, which of course that's going to be my Saturday morning TV log this weekend, and several others. Now, you'll actually get to see, someone dressed up in a big good guy costume called the Walk, which they credit as the Walkabout Chucky, and he's played by John Franklin. I think a lot of you remember that guy, the guy who played Isaac in Children of the Corn, and also Cousin It in the Addams Family theatrical live-action movie. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Anyway, now I also do like the score from Joe Renzetti. It was pretty good too. But anyway, it still did pretty well. The film went on to make 44 million, but however, despite it got some good response and mixed response, it did spark controversy and what have you. Yeah, because during the initial release, a large crowd of protesters formed at the main entrance of the MGM studio calling for a ban on the film because they claimed it would incite violence in children. Well, the producer, who of course David Kirshner, was watching the demonstration on TV and was disturbed. Yeah. Jeffrey Hilton, who had been working in Kirshner's office at MGM, indicated that he would quell any disturbance in 10 minutes. While Kirshner was watching from the safety of his office, Hilton spoke to the group's leader and shook his hand. The group instantly dispersed, much to the chagrin of the newscasters. Hilton did not reveal to Kirshner where it had been a threat or simple diplomacy that saved the day. Anyway, with Hilton's diplomacy notwithstanding, the film series was plagued with accusations of inciting violence in children. The third movie was cited as the inspiration for two murders, one which took place in the UK, in December 92 and February 93. Yeah. Pretty shocking, huh? Anyway, still, I'm completely understanding about this. That's terrible. Just horrible. But anyway, still, from my point of view, Child's Play from 1988 is still one of my many favorite slasher films. Well, it has more of a supernatural feel to it, but it is kind of close to being a slasher. It wouldn't be until a couple of years later when Universal got the rights from MGM as they sold the rights to them right before the production of the next one, sorry. But MGM retained the rights to the first film and as such distributed the reboot film that came out in 2019, which I am not re-reviewing, thank you very much. Anyway, Child's Play went on to put out 6 sequels, and merchandise and even comic books even. And of course the upcoming TV series, which of course Brad Dourif will once again voice Chucky. So anyway, I really do look forward to seeing the Chucky show when it comes around to USA and Sci-Fi. But in the end, would I recommend the original Child's Play? The answer is hell yeah. I think this is one flick you can't afford to pass on. If you really want to see how Chucky started, the real original Chucky, then you must go with this. Thank you very much. But anyway, that's all I'm going to tell you. It's got a pretty good cast, good direction from Tom Holland. A lot of it isn't too bad. So anyway, so what are your thoughts on the original Child's Play? Tell me what you thought about in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button below, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a re-review of Child's Play 2. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, you may want to consider checking out some of these other films. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the original Fright Night from 1985, or if you just want some more slashing goodness, see my recent spoiler-free review for the recent Fear Street trilogy from Netflix. Or if you want some more stuff that involves voodoo and what have you, see my review of the underrated blaxploitation '74 flick Sugar Hill. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.